r/is credit. What's the biggest mistake you've made because you were horny? I was hospitalized for a week being on isolation. I was mostly fine. Got too horny and wanked a few off. 1 year later, I got a job at the place. Turns out the room I was in had a camera. Around the age of 12 I had sex with my wall. There wasn't a hole or anything, I was just rubbing my boner against the wall and making out with it. I've been stupidly horny my whole life, it's kind of annoying. Let my ex-boyfriend dry hump me for an hour on a bench outside after summer school. The bad news, this bench behind our school was also beside a swimming pool, where parents were taking their children for swim lessons. Eventually a staff member came out and yelled at us for being inappropriate. I still have shame flashbacks today, over 10 years later. Jerked off to my crush house on Google Maps. I was staying in a backpacker's dorm with shared bathrooms. I had a thing for this guy staying there as well and he was into me, but, well, it's hard to find a private spot when you both are staying in 10-bed dorms. So, we did what any horny 20-something would do. We fooled around in the shower. It's worth noting here that we had just switched from a different floor to this one and knew no one. So there we were. Me standing in the shower, water running, him, below me, keeping busy. Next minute, we hear a German accent yell outside the door. Dude. You're flooding the hallway. In his concentration and my preoccupation, we had managed to block the drain. We came out of the bathroom and yep. The hallway was flooded. So, we spent the next hour or so mopping the hallway and introducing ourselves to the neighbors. Oh yeah, and it leaked in the floor below, so we also had to tell the front desk. I got asked to dog sit at a friend's parents' house. She set me up with a blow-up mattress in the living room. I got a little bored, so I called my GF and we proceeded to have video sex right there in the living room. I got a text the next day saying there are cameras in the living room and they are just for keeping an eye on their dog while they're away, but if I wanted to I can turn them the other way. I was pretty embarrassed after that one. Edit. For the people who don't understand why I would do that at someone else's house whether I knew about the camera or not. Well, my GF is rarely horny, and so when she called me and started talking dirty, I couldn't help myself. Also, other people have pointed out that whether I had the sex or not doesn't matter because I was changing in front of the camera regardless. The sex thing just added more embarrassment, lol. Got a porn site membership and forgot about it? 4 months and like $150 later I realized my fuck up. When I was about 12, I fucked a bottle of Head and Shoulders. It went in soft, and my dumb ass didn't think. Things expand when you get excited. Got my dong stuck for about 30 minutes. Managed to get it off though, albeit the purple snake was much more purple than normal. I did indeed finish. The shampoo was disposed of. Confessed feelings to my coworker. It went down so badly that I quit on the spot the next day. I had a seizure and instead of calling a doctor afterwards I convinced my GF that I was fine and we had sex. Was trying to get with a girl in college. We were texting and I asked her what she was up to. She said she was training for a marathon and going to the gym and asked if I wanted to come. I ended up running 9 miles before I tagged out. So now I know how far I'd go to get laid, it's up to 9 miles. Hooked up with a girl at a party. Didn't even think she was all that attractive, just kind of bored, drunk, and horny. Having to go to the doctor for a case of crabs was my reward for poor self-control. Beat off in a doctor's office not realizing they could see from the other room. I was 12. I got my first serious GF in high school. She was 2 grades below me. So when I finished 3rd year and moved 500 kilometers south we was still a couple. I was so in love, and most of all horny, I commuted every single weekend. And I was poor. So I took the bus to the nearest station after school. Waited for the long distance bus for 4 to 5 hours. Went to a larger city to hitchhike my way there. I was there Friday night or Saturday morning. Locked ourselves in her bedroom and went at it until Sunday morning. I made my way down to school again and went to class straight from the bus Monday morning. This went on for almost a year. This happened a couple of months ago. I was horny. I went to masturbate in the bathroom cause I was staying in a hostel. I was having a good time, Then I heard a glass window breaking and me looking down to see fucking blood pumping out of my fucking dick like I opened a water tap. Turns out, some dumb fucks were playing cricket and hit the ball straight onto the glass window and broke it. The glass shard fell right on my erect penis. Thankfully the bleeding stopped a few minutes after I lost my erection. Had to run to the emergency clinic. Thankfully I didn't lose my dick. Swimming down the Craigslist wormhole of desperation and depravity. Nice tits. Wanna get married? Okay, not exactly that, it was a drawn-out 9-year process between those two sentences. But we did, and it was a terrible, terrible mistake. Not my biggest mistake. I posted that elsewhere in response to a comment. I did give my beloved childhood teddy bear a facial though. When the post-nut clarity hit, I just sat cross-legged on the floor looking at the hot mess of semen and fur I created. Ended up cleaning him via waterboarding, but the stains never disappeared. About 10 years ago I had a double lap dance in the back room of a strip club. They made promises and I gave them my credit card. Nothing happened except me trying in vain to fight a 4-figure credit card charge. I am not a smart man. My sister was getting married to my now brother-in-law when I was 18. I was his best man, we were finishing up getting ready at the church and I was in one of the back rooms trying to get my tie tied. His younger stepsister, who was my age, had been helping out all day and the night before. She was really cute and her and I had been flirty all weekend. She came into the room to get something and I asked her if she knew how to tie a tie the right way. She came over to help, got all up close and was giving me the sexy eyes. It just popped off. We locked the door and got down right before the ceremony. Then later at the reception. Her dad found out later and lost his shit. He wasn't married to my brother-in-law's mom, but they'd been together a long time, so I guess she wasn't technically his stepsister. Whatever. He hated me. Every time our families hung out he would be a dickhead. It ended with them breaking up and he moved with his daughter to Missouri. Said I love you to my ex after like 6 months of semi-casual dating, lol. Had so much bad sex in college that first time I fucked someone who knew what they were doing I thought it was love. Big yikes for me. In college, it was a random weeknight. I had started talking to my first girlfriend again. We dated in middle school/freshman year of high school several years prior. She was on trimesters or something, so she didn't have classes that week and was at her parents' lake house, alone. Truly my parents are gone text, and 5 minutes later my mind was made up and I was on my way to the car. I drove 2.5 hours one way, in the middle of the night, in February, upper Midwest, to meet up with this girl and seal the deal that preteen me set in motion like 7 years prior. It was, just alright. What my pent-up dick forgot about was that I had a mandatory chemistry lab at 8 a.m. the next day. It was 3 a.m. when the post-nut clarity hit, while we were smoking some post-sex weed. I ended up pulling an all-nighter, we banged again, because sex, and then drove back to my school. On zero sleep, about 6x the healthy limit of caffeine, and groggy AF from her shitty weed, I rolled into the chem building. Sit there for 10 minutes before I realize no one else is there. This was pre-smartphones, and most people didn't carry their laptops to classes, so I hopped on a computer to verify the schedule, and see the email from the prop that the lab is moved to the next week. She sent it 2 minutes after I followed my second brain out the door the night before. Thought that my bottle of hand sanitizer was my bottle of lube. In the early days of the internet, somewhere around the year 2000, I would often stay at a buddy's house for the weekend. I was 15, and had been madly in lust with Britney Spears since her rise to fame. My buddy's stepdad worked for the local telecom, and thus had access to the highest of high-speed connections. Late at night, after my friend would fall asleep, I would sneak into his family's den and search for random porn on his family's desktop with wanton disregard and a lot of ignorance towards malicious links, spam, and other shady internet shenanigans. One night, after nearly locking down their computer with an endless stream of pop-ups, I saw an ad promising free access to the newly uncovered Britney Spears blowjob video. My mind, and penis, exploded. I had to see it. And now. I followed the rabbit hole, page after page, click after click, only to discover that I would need a credit card to verify my age as over 18. I was livid. By the next day, after hard resetting their PC several times and trying to scrub any evidence of my misdeeds, I had hatched a plan. I would steal my older sister's credit card info and enter it on the website. She would surely never notice the 99-cent fee, and I would be in Britney BJ paradise. So, being completely blind of the dangers of the internet, that's exactly what I did. The next weekend, in the wee hours of the morning, I searched for the video and came across the very same link as the week before. I entered all of her card info. I of course wasn't going to use our own home phone number, so I entered the only other number I could remember by heart in my horny stupor, my work's phone number. Immediately upon submitting my info, my sister started getting hit with huge charges, originating from all over the world. On my end, I was hit with a cavalcade of redirects and pop-ups. I must have spent a couple hours frantically searching for my promised video. As daybreak hit, I admitted defeat as I again hard reset their computer. By lunchtime my sister's bank had called our house about the charges. And they gave her the phone number I entered. Obviously, she and my mom figured it out quick. I confessed as soon as I was confronted. My mom spent that evening convincing my sister to press charges on me. On Monday morning, she drove me to our local police station and dropped me off. I had to walk in and confess everything, alone. As a minor, there really wasn't much they could do other than a couple hours of paperwork. Our school cop then drove down to the station to pick me up and deliver me to school. We arrived during class change, and hundreds of my classmates got to see me walking in late, escorted by the police, straight to the principal's office to explain my tardiness. The rest of the school day is a blur. My sister's card company cancelled the dozens of charges and issued her a new card, though the process took forever and was a major hassle. Our relationship has been strained ever since, and I notice even now, 20+ years later, that she keeps her purses and wallet safe the way when she comes to my home for holidays with my family. My mom sent me on a years-long shame spiral about sex, porn, and masturbation. That culminated in a couple of months' worth of sessions with some youth pastor that my aunt suggested to her. I had to sit and talk to this total stranger about all of the private thoughts and feelings I was experiencing, with an umbrella of Jesus, who I already didn't believe in, on top of me. The entire thing fucked me up. I'm almost 38 now, twice married, with 3 children. My oldest is nearly the age I was when I did this massively stupid thing. And I am still fucked up from the after effects. I'm weird about my body, weird about masturbation, weird about so much. It adds such a burden to my relationships. And I still never got to see that video. God bless you, Britney. You blowjobbing bitch. Took an escort from a bar in Shanghai back to my hotel. Got carried away after she started give me a blowjob and lost all sense of rational thought. No condom. She hopped on top and we had sex, no condom. She stayed the night and we proceeded to repeat 5 or 6 times, and had zero protection. Spent the next 3 months thinking about every tickle and twitch in my wiener, convinced it was in STI. Went for monthly STI checks, convinced that I had just committed suicide by HIV. Luckily, no positive results. 10 years later, and I think I'm clear. Bad result was that I now look back on it as the hands down best dirty raw fuckfest of my life. She was gorgeous and amazing in bed. Having a wank but forgetting to shut the curtains. Nosy neighbors. Gave him gas money to come down and pipe. Safe to say I didn't get my money's worth. Tried forcing a relationship to work. I was also intoxicated through most of it. I accidentally put myself in debt by fucking my former accountant on his desk and messing up papers. It got cleared up, but it was an awful week and a half. I decided to wank around 9 p.m. on a weekday. It made me sleepy, I fell asleep, missed the deadline for a programming assignment and sent my previously A average to a C-. I have taken a few risks going raw over the years. Bought an expensive dildo on Bad Dragon. Luckily managed to cancel the order in time after I cooled down. My guy was working his magic, making me quiver and see stars. I was so wound up, I asked for anal despite his size and lack of prep. Great sex ends with an anal fissure and blood everywhere. Unknowingly became a Thai MILF spoi toy in Thailand. My Thai friend brings me for my first Thai massage and we're each assigned a room. This plus-size Thai lady in her 40s walks in and the massage starts. Everything was going so well, I was so relaxed, and then I got an erection. As we were finishing up, the masseuse whispered some flattering words as she caressed and brushed her hands against my inner thighs and erected penis. Then she says she haven't had sex in a while and asked if we could do it here quietly. I said sure, thinking it's a one-night stand thing. So she pulls out a condom and we started fucking hard. After my friend and I were done and ready to leave, we go get our bill and mine read. Thai massage, $10. Extra service, $100. My friend looks at my receipt and starts giggling, then the girls at the counter also starts giggling and whispering in Thai to each other. My friend translated their conversation to mean something like, Ante must be so proud and happy this handsome young man was willing to pay to have sex with her, who would have thought? Got scammed out of $500 trying to get an escort, grinning face with sweat. Lost my entire tax refund and got my phone stolen at a strip club in San Diego. Ejaculated into my own mouth. Weird way to ask which of my kids is the oldest. Ran across the street to a condom vending machine without checking. Got hit by a car and, thankfully only, broke my nose. Needless to say, the evening didn't end in bed with my GF. See, the problem is that God gives men a brain and a penis, and only enough blood to run one at a time. / Robin Williams